Alright, we're gonna get this little shindig started over here. To do that over here, we're gonna be reading the thing over here we got going on. For our guy in ideology. Kiss me then kick. Years ago, the prosper of England fallen would have been seen impossible as a party in the house in the head of those who the empire had trodden and beaten, but now it has with England from the cliffs to Dover to the forest and Northumberland. Beyond our French apprentice once again. The man that stood laid his bloody lieutenant against me then kick, over the English called him a toad's monster. Born in Danville to a coal merchant, Nick had been known around his community as a shine straight man since a young age. Once after losing a bicycle race, he sounded no longer a parachute in front of his friends. His kid let life would take a darker turn in 1935. We'll take a darker turn, where he found himself closely involved with the activity of the Oscars won. During his time with them, Denke found himself closely associated with their sacrifices and quickly found enjoyment in the act of killing. Denke would find political break when the United Kingdom fell the French paratroopers. The French desired to revenge against their arch nemesis, lessons established a one territory Albion, a nation directly molded around the Oscars principles. Denke was Labour's personal choice for leading the nation due to his correct belief that he would unleash the largest possible amount of terror of the English population. Since then, Casimir Duncan has proved to be a reliable loyalist to France, brutally perpetrating events in the 1950 New Year's massacre, which still a heavy in the Englishman's mind. Duncan has, much to his chagrin, been forced to stay away from Ireland and England due to the alliance of English collaborators, namely Diana Milford and Maxwell Knight. But since when he presents himself, he no longer has to rely on the Anglo support. Decade would readily slip into the role of Labour once upon all the usual goal when he entrusted him with the command of Albion. So this story to the 50th Albion is Germanic population that lasts triumph against the legacy of King Henry's, Harold's, and George. God help England when that day comes. Maybe it will. Who knows? It's entirely possible that it could will. Anyways, pentimism over here. What happens after every revolution? A society sits down and re-engages itself with the structure of the previous regime. Every revolution sooner or later becomes a conservative. The fate had related so in Rome as well. As the years went on, the essence of futurism was starting to dim. The lives of many returned to a normalcy of working, resting, and consuming, and while many accepted that this is logical step of history, some didn't. Within the darkest minds of the men most would consider crazy arose a new doctrine of pentimism. From the Latin word for assaulting pentimus are explorers of the further reaches of this period, seeking to lead the people out of the nihilist to stupid and forward to glory. They are concerned with the mundane sciences of economy, law, backstage politics, and so on, for the mission to destroy them all, but unlike the Salidas comrades, do not plan to stop there. And while they are few and far in between, their final goal is not just global, but one could say that is universal. Seeing the total structure and realization of their race, they hope society to do grand orchestra of steel and blood to perform an endless world mediocrity on the elderly, to explore the otherworldly and esoteric, to dive into madness and fly outside of all seen missions, including the good and evil, to jump into an endless whirlpool of eternal youth, to be bound only by the endless human imagination, to defeat reality itself over in there. Yeah, and I'm definitely very interested to see how this is going to pan out for actual pentimus nations. Definitely is going to be one of the things that I'm quite curious about when the time comes. And we've also got some descriptions over here. End of an era. Once upon a time long ago, Britannia ruled the waves. His flag flew in the air from the Arctic of Polynesia. The country was replicated by dozens of nations, and its culture was admired as the ruling class of the world. The days are long gone. Nowadays, they saw their march on the shores of England. The Scots dissolved the union of crowns, and England found itself to shell it for itself, losing even its name. Deal here. About 15 political power gains, stability. Pretty bad. Political turmoil over here, lots of bad. England was at one point famed for its stable government during these times when the war was aflame. Seeing the French occupiers have not managed to replicate success, Albion has filled to the brim with radicalism, political violence, and state-sponsored terror. In the case, way of ruling is no help, and this heavy-handed response to the problem often makes them even worse. An overwhelming resistance over in here. Yeah, we are not doing great in terms of state. There always be England, and England shall be free. If England means as much to you as England means to me. This phrase first appeared in the Song of Vera during the Red Floods, the symbol of English resistance to the French. In every city, there will never be some place where there's quote great freedom on the wall. Peace have an instant attempted to remove the independently minded people who dare to oppose them. But like the Hydra once removed, another 10 seem to rise up. Indeed. Montreal and Normandy. Normandy is a land that is defied not by what it is, but what it could be. Started after the fall of Britain was created to unleash terror and fear upon its inhabitants. The desire for terror not to create equal in action is over-reliance on English colonies and made somewhat of a failed state. Though, of course, the troubled times that could all change in an instant. It could. But, who the hell knows, really? Ready. Who the fuck knows? Lots of interesting little shit we got going on out here. Four little states that we got going on out here. At least we got some things going. A whole lot, but it is better than nothing. Let's see here. Oh yeah, light tanks. All this good shit out here. And we got the one factory. The one factory. Anyways. Like we just got that one factory over here. That is pretty funny. All things considering. But yeah. I'm gonna be dealing with some shit. Here. The pro-French side over here, because that's what we're doing over here. The whole Normandy is gonna be replaced with something else over here. It's gonna be less of a French arcade over here. So I tried to cut it over here. I may have even changed already, who knows. I'm just doing this over here just so we can have like a little capsule of what it was once. Normandy is and prides itself in being a colonial state. Its whole existence, after all, is a trade over English desires and dignity. Whatever our goals may be, there is be here in this barren isle. There are no importance compared to that of the French homeland. Indeed. Le France homeland. All sorts of interesting shit got going on out and about here. So we need some trains. Well, got the trains actually. I think we're yeah, I'm a bit tired. So right now, a lot of things have been happening right now actually. So there may actually be some recordings over here. There may actually be like no lot of videos uploaded over here because something pretty substantial happened here. I'm not gonna talk about it over here. It's very personal, but it's quite the something. Oh, in here, and that I don't know how to delve too deep in that over here. This is an LP stuff over here. We're talking about LP stuff. That being getting our power basically. Okay, one or two over here. I'm gonna read this because it's related to our guys over here and this over there. French cinema struck again, the most disturbing and terrifying film ever released. Many of you simply could not watch the spectacle. Many felt sick. Someone even left the cinema. It's already been banned in many countries, not surprisingly after they praised the film for charging classic cinema. The film was tell about a maniac who terribly kills and rapes his victim. He tries to find more and more sophisticated methods and eventually goes crazy in the search. It has to do with the body mouse so that his head stops hurting, but self-tribute is unsuccessful and he simply hammers a nail into his skull. After which the pain subsides a bit. In a fit of madness, he decides to build a house from the corpse of his victim. Soon they get it, completes a house on 102 victims. Nothing to do, after which he decides to burn the house of corpses along with them. But it came out extremely naturalistic. Someone spread a rumor at the scene that there was real deaths. Many call this film a real crime against humanity. Who knows what else is art of letting real state capable of? Which allow themselves over here. Reference to House of Jack Bird over here, remember correctly. It's over here, at home. We still, of course, have a duty to uphold our sacred mission to destroy England, no matter the collaborators' earnest desire to cooperate with future police. We live for sole purpose of death and Anglism. We should have reminded them of that. Remind them all of that shit over there. The Fidious Albion. We get our shit going. As over here, we need to get trucks and shit going. No, since I love this shit. All of that which is gonna be really relevant for when the time comes, really. For if I got going out over here. Or the entire League Solaire. I'm very curious about how League Solaire is gonna pan out. Over here once France gets its stuff. Definitely is gonna be a later video over here, I expect. Whenever this comes out over here, I expect for the kind of what I'm right or wrong over here, I expect Burning Memories and the full release of Judgment Day to come on December 31st, 2023 at like 11:59 p.m. I expect it. Oh yeah, we got this over here. The Great Bush War. Out here between these two guys. Anyways, 5 two evils. Yes. Maybe a bush over here. I'm very curious to see how this is gonna play over here. I was like, what the hell are you doing up there? Anyways, over here, only one who would want to hear has a place in order. Only the Lord of Pure can march through the end. Bring the gates to see of eternal life. I guess, you know. The eternal out there. Yeah, the hell we got in store for you guys over here. And we cannot do a goddamn thing with our PP. Nice. Continue exporting to the motherland. Our French homeland desires that we continuously regularly supply resources to it. We are more than happy about taking these selfish goals. We should continue to work with the Englishmen to the bone and produce more wheat, corn, and slate. All the things France desires over here. That's what Canada wins. Got Maxwell Knight over here. ep1 over here. For the fucking what was it? The Invisible Committee. In Universe, I think it was a VG collab in real life. I think it was a newspaper, if I remember correctly. I think he wrote for a newspaper over here. I can't remember if it did. There's what? Enigma. Kleptocrat. They're doing all too well, so we might as well get these guys up in here. I very much look forward to seeing these more fleshed out. Yes, sir. See a man in this bus over here. Yeah, so I get some events as well. Life is hard. These are the thoughts of Harold, a young bus driver in Sheffield. Out of the deprived area of the country before the French arrived, the loss of the steel industry to the French buying raised unlimited life in the northern city worse. But in a place of such an awful state, there has to be people who keep this place running. Harold got in his bus and started driving around the city, stopping to pick up passengers. Before the war, while he had only been mostly working people using the bus services, there had been a few with the Englishmen, so as far said. Then the war, Harold was only a child. His father worked the buses and provided him and his mother. His father lost his right hand in the scum invasion. And while he got a metaphor, they didn't feed his family. So there Harold was, only 20, working in place of his father, something he hadn't noticed during his daily rounds. The only people wearing clothes that Harold would consider posh were French. But he noticed when they spoke to him, or when they were on the bus, they seemed to have fear in their eyes. Harold could see why English on the bus constantly looked at them with hatred. Harold wondered if his fellow Englishmen might snap one day. Maybe just go kick the French out of their homes. Maybe. Just maybe. It might just be free one day. Harold cast away those thoughts. He'd have time for thinking later. Now it's time to drive his bus and earn some money for his family. Men are destined to dream of a brighter future. Yes. A brighter future shall come at some point in the future. Because it's just what it is. Anyways, from the circulation project. One of the most cleverly controversial plans of Denke, the idea of circulation project. This should in theory lead the English and the French citizens to separate rise with the French being to better living standards on land. Because of course. Tyrant over here. Fake Lardy. From Joyce. All sorts of interesting people we got for us. And I do wonder how expansive this is gonna get around over here. First of all moves over here with them hard drives. There's something that I'm quite curious about. Quite curious. But it definitely is going to be quite the thing we got going out for us here. Yeah, quite the thing over here considering how our fucking equipment situation is. Trying to get as much as we can for us. Yeah, we got a full cabinet over here of all sorts of interesting people over here. And you over here. Oh, you have a potential path. Let's see over here. Called the Annual Colonial Conference. With a hitch we have our English collaborators, we are deeply worried of the fact that our very existence requires their help. Therefore, we create an annual conference where they can meet us with us and discuss matters that have points to them. Just placate them for the time being. I don't know if it's supposed to be like 52 or 56, or like some shit came over here and they had to like postpone it. Over in here, they're just kind of like, yeah, fuck, we'll just continue with the 56. 52, sorry. Oh yeah, I mean, so my original start date was supposed to be 52 over here, but that got changed to 56 because of some weird shenanigans. Yeah. Evolution of Cuba. Over here. Castro. Out here doing Castro things. Got a bunch of treat about that. Very intrigued about that. And that comes up over here. So if we don't get any staff and all that shit over there, I do wonder how that's going to be over there, because there are going to be quite a bit of change once full release comes over for GD. And I'm very much am keen on that shit. Very keen. Extremely keen, you could say. Anyways, over in here. We'll do this over here. I'm going to wait until that event pops up. So we have a verse over here. Here called the Colonial Conference of 1952. All states surrounding the system of ruling must at least attempt to appease the majority of the population. Normandy is no exception to this rule. Every year, a conference is called and figures ranging from the highest level of the government to the lowest provincial bureaucrat are invited to attend. Many people are wondering what the main topic of the conference will be. From which have spread dedicated attention to announce on major policy change, and whether or not this change will be positive for the English people. It's still for the air. No matter the results of the conference, and now an extremely important issue. People in the event and many important figures in Normandy will be attending. The conference begins. Yeah, that's going to be eventually over here. I'm going to read this. Sacrifice in every town. Sacrifice a person is one of the greatest feelings of man could have. The idea that the can ask God both hold dearly. Surprisingly, there appears to be a lack of people willing to have themselves sacrificed. I wonder why. Each solution's point simply sacrifice a portion of the human public. Those of an added effect of increasing fear among the English over here. Or resentment, depending on circumstances. Depending on circumstances. Lots of interesting shit. All sorts of crap that we got over here. Again, conference has last begun. I expect dedicated is taking the state to announce a new direction for Normandy government. That previous close collaborators point out John Becker, especially as the Mark collaborator, or Mark which Becker showed some discomfort with. Yeah, yeah. The king then moved on to announcing his longer-awaited policy change. He said that he would be wrapping up persecuting so-called subversives. He then wanted to tell the conference that he would begin to introduce prison camps similar to those in the Boer War. Can't remember what those were called, but for anyone who dared to criticize the French authorities, of course, his speech was given a single ovation by almost all the delegates, for a delegation from Duvan who knows we stay seated. Later, then King said they get some of the tragic fall his windows later that day. I expected the unfortunate result. So fight the tragedy of life. Here, what would cost such a thing? Was Bolivia. Of course. So I'm going to cover it down a bit. Christine was only a little girl. She had been born the last days of free England. She couldn't remember a time where the signs weren't in French, but the parents could. Her father had fought in the war and come back bruised and damaged, but not defeated. Doubts of father's heart, a little bit of hope that guided him. Every day without fail, he would go out, cut the English resistance. She heard a knock at the door. His mother was in the garden speaking to the neighbors, so Christine answered. The door was a tall, thin man with wavy gray hair. The line on his face was deep and dark bag under his eyes. He seemed shocked to see Christine open the door. Hello, miss, he said in a northern accent. Is your mother in the house? Just then, Christine's mother arrived at the door. The man showed her a look of concern. When he turned to her mother and saw her face had gone chalk white. Christine? He said in a quiet voice. Should I go in the living room for a minute? Normally she would have argued with her mother with a look of horror and despair in her face, convinced her to follow my instruction. She sat on the floor next to a toy her father gave to her when he came back from the war. Though the wall couldn't hear the man talk, she heard the word dead. Christine began to feel sick in her stomach. She heard about his response, though. A terrible wail. Saw her mother crying. She had never heard her before. And all while her mother came to her room, tears running down her face. Christine had a horrible, singy feeling, let's just say. Christine, Sarah's not going to be around anymore. Indeed. All sorts of bad things are going to happen over here. Since I've ignored reading this beforehand, over here, I'm actually going to read it this time. Just kind of waiting to save for another day, but it is what it is. A new book by Japanese writer Yukio Mishima, who I'm thinking of actually be a path for Japan in 3D. Under the title Philosophy and Life, the book tells about the Russo-Japanese War, a young Japanese Leiji Miyazaki, the grandson of a samurai who goes to the front of Manchuria. There he raised fight for the emperor, made his comrades, and rejoiced in victory. However, as soon as the Japanese Imperial Army began to lose, as the Ichi's detachment retreats into the forest, many of his comrades die. The Ichi was given a mission to get close to one of the Russian field camps in order to find out useful information. When he was captured in Russian captivity, he is tortured, but it's a successful escape attempt. He finds many corpses. It turns out to be a squad. He, being spared, does not kill and decides to take all the cartridges, the rifle, and knife of his best friend. Then wants to force to begin a partisan struggle. Pennant arranged a successful raid against Russian soldiers and carried out subversive activities. As soon as the Japanese war ends with a few years there, Ichi finds out about it. He decides that both honor of Japan and his honor have been dishonored. In the end, he commits seppuku with his best friend's knife. The book has a lot of detailed description of cruel moments. Some critics consider this book a masterpiece, while others are extremely dissatisfied with his sense of cruelty. Many critics say it's philosophy, not even pure propaganda. So that's been a little book in Pan Asia. Interesting over here. A little bit of world building over here with some books. Oh, there. Wee bit of books, you know how it is. Wee bit of books and all that shit. Meanwhile, it's raining. Raining all about and all around. As you hear the budget of the Defense League. In order for us to remain a state, we must strike our enemies, especially those inside Normandy. For that purpose, we establish the Defense League. Our secret police under the leadership of Maxwell Knight. And at a time like now, we should increase its budget. Definitely should. You never know when the night needs to be max. And well, that's a terrible joke. I don't know why I thought that would be funny. Don't know why, but just like my life over here, I just say dumb shit. Oh, time over here. I'm very interested in this shit. Surprised we don't have any trains. Any sort of trains out here. Like nothing over here. And we could command stuff over here, but I want to save as much stability as I can, though, really, and then just fucking get it all off. Gotta save as much of our stability as we can. It takes a while actually get this shit go popping off. Let's see over here. Should now get a go to the patrol. We've got the event. New Manalist, who was on 11 p.m. in Berlin Palace, and John Becker was tired. He had spent the day rushing back and forth from various rooms of the home. In fact, he was beginning to wish they had used a smaller building at the center of the police station. But again, he couldn't deny that Berlin was a beautiful palace. Beckett's eyes turned to the portrait of Duke of Marlborough hanging on the wall behind him. Ever since the French had come to England, Beckett had begun to feel a strange sort of closeness to Marlborough. But now was the time for sentimentality, thinking. Now was the time for action. Now he put his hand in his box, which he had asked for his secretary to fill the letters for him while he was away, and took out the letter on top of the pile, putting in the reading gas and lighting his pipe. Now he read it. Well, narrated. Dear Mr. Beckett, he began. I have a new request for you. From recently there have been new subversive elements in the administration. I'm referring to one Mr. John Profumo. Beckett took out a sheet of paper on the desk, and copied the name. I'm therefore asking you to put an end to this man any way you see fit. Beckett sighed. He had no particular pleasure in killing his own countrymen. For that matter, he had no fondness of the French. But it didn't matter after all. If it wasn't around the temper then came evil desire, who would be? Beckett turned back to read the letter. I have great faith in you, John. Do not make me think that faith is misplaced. Seriously, CD. Catch my den kick. The D with the C in it. You know how it is. Now we've got a bunch of guns now. You know, the Court du Patron. In comparison to the Anglos' phony belief in God, we have a much higher belief. Belief in Le Patron, his glory, how he and his innumerable strength saved France and now will save Europe from the hands of the reactionary scum of the East. They'll be exalted beyond belief. No, we must be fucking go beyond over here. We also got a new Labour, a new Liberal, and Conservative over here. Defence League, United Britannia Party. Patriots over here. We've already seen that over here. So there's probably Great Britain. That's probably Great Britain. Yeah, I think I've seen it before. Research this as well, just in case. See this. Seen all this shit and that shit. So got the code over here. Down secessionist over here. They were trying to manage reforge reality self. He has awakened Europe to his true potential, influence countless people in directions that they're taking otherwise, and most of it to us finally put down France's greatest enemy, England. Though must be venerated, he must be true like the inhumanly genius he is over in here. Because I'm sure that personality call will definitely last for a while. Turns to the old political beliefs still haunt us. The obsession would bring back the old brilliance and best stupidity and worst reason. Put them down in the foolhardy once and for all. I'm pretty sure like there will be several factions in France that will try to dismantle that code of personality for their own gains, really. And there's someone to continue it. We did not succeed, we shall see. We shall motherfucking see. I gotta go all out on the defensive jocks with my boy. All on that offensive doctrino. Oh man. That is shit. Oh dear, I haven't slept well lately, so I do apologize for that. Do apologize for that. Give me a moment. Just over here real quick. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that was just real quick on here. Show you the event over here. Putting on the old dog. The Lincolnshire combat was quickly marched out of the Green Line. Jerk with them had Jack Cunningham. A man who was constantly in trouble for the French administration. He seemed to think himself on modern Robin Hood scheme for the rich, or in this case the French, and giving people the poor. That makes sense. He had tried that strategy one too many times and been captured and taken to execution. Neither the cops want to Cunningham between all his men to aid their guns on the men. He knows Cunningham's appearance. He's clearly been without a place to stay for several weeks. His slight stubble and his usually short hair had become larger than kept. How such a man caused such trouble for so long would forever escape the leader of the comprehension. On the count that I fired around the bull's lair, Jack Cunningham bullet in the body fell on the floor. Do I know we were secured again? But for how long? How long indeed over here? Because we got dark from people in White Chapel. I see a police identified a credible threat to our rule by a man named John Profumo, a small town occupation leader, 4-man P. His tendency to visit Boston gives a perfect opportunity to strike him. And well, yeah, another small linchpin to our resistance. Very small linchpin. Yeah, because so this can not backfire at all over here. Today, at around 5:30 p.m. in the morning, the body of John Perfume was found by a butcher on his way to work. By 6, a large crowd assembled around the body and reached the police's attention. They ordered the crowd to leave on pain of death and sent the body in for an autopsy. We spread about the area where the body had been found. One persisted, one was actually stored, but said to the point where his head was almost entirely decapitated. Goddamn. You just got to take quite a bit of strength or some dedication for that. Later on that day, there was an announcement that Detroit police team that John Perfume committed suicide. Of course, over in there, self-inflicted. Yes, that kind of wound being self-inflicted over here. I think he would die before that would actually happen. Surprisingly, it seemed as though it was not entirely believed. No shit. Audi rumors have spread that Perfume was murdered by the government for his connection to resistant movements in the country. It seemed that the death of Perfume was the last straw for the English people, and the development of protests done despite our best efforts to stop these events are correct down to always inspire the protesters. If we don't end this rabble rousing soon, our regime may just be damaged or worst case scenario destroyed. TikTok and BC, I don't care. TikTok indeed over here. So we're about to get the gonna get some more events over here. I know we're out of time over here, but I'm gonna wait until next year. It's not the start of the year. That's when the shit really gets nailed. That's when they really get right down to it. And holy shit, is it gonna be quite the fucking thing. It's gonna be quite the thing we got going on out here. These be quite interesting to see how this plays out over in here. Was Hyde Park. Of all places for Buddhists to have, Hyde Park was considered to be most likely them all, with its history of being home to the country's famous Speaker's Corner. One of the large areas seemed the obvious place for rebels to unite. They had Sunday night today. The protesters voting for Perfume was definitely congregated there. People all throughout London, even throughout the country, were here. Protesters stood side by side all throughout the park. Using their little spark was set them off and set London aflame. That spark with the action of one member of the police. Seen a number of people had already intimidated and broke my knees, but when my brother threw blood at him, he snapped and began firing at the crowd. Whereas the police, not knowing what was happening, decided to join in and also fire the crowd. Of course, mob mentality, my boys. After 5 minutes, they're coming out of some mass to restore order, but within the hour, 60 people were dead and 279 were injured. That's a lot. That's a lot, actually. The Hyde Park massacre begins to be called the only instance in English from Netherlands to London. The government began to fear that there could be all of a revolution. No way this could end well. Nowhere at all. Because very shortly after, your boy's gonna be fucking dead. And yeah, it ain't gonna be pretty. It ain't gonna be pretty once things go down out here. And with that, he's still around. But with that over here, I'm gonna make a save over here. This is when things are gonna kick off over here. Now I'm gonna end up over here for a bit over here, but it should be fine. Because next time we're gonna get this shit thing started, and that should be fun. Till then, I'll see you.